never say anything that contradicts the Bible. He will convict you, but he'll never condemn you. And he'll never give broad correction, but he'll always be specific. Let's go to verse 25. Let's jump down from 28. I don't know where I was actually before, but let's go to 25. It says, shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Do not be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. And Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. Izzy, could you come up? This is a picture of your salvation. This is a picture of when you were saved. God called you out of the boat onto the water and said, "Come, follow me." It's like this. It's when you kind of first came to know about the things of God, when you kind of first came aware to the things that were happening, you said, "All right, God, if you're real, call me out to you." And God did exactly that. He said, "All right, come." So you stepped out of what was familiar, the boat in this case. You stepped out of all your friends, all your family, all the things that you knew before, and you stepped out and you seem to be walking on water. For a while, it seems to be pretty good. You're walking on water. I mean, this is awesome. You are literally walking on water. But you all of a sudden start focusing on the wind instead of Jesus, and you begin to sink. But look at this. Jesus immediately reached out his hand, and it doesn't just stop there. He grabbed him, and he saved his life. Jesus saved your life. When all was lost, when all hell broke loose, is that you? Did you come into this Christianity thing, and it was doing pretty good for a little while, you were following God for what you thought was pretty good, and then something terrible happened. Maybe it was a tragedy. Maybe you messed up and did something that you said you would never, ever do again, and it feels like you are drowning in your circumstances. In the midst of tragedy, people always say, "Man, where is God? Where is God in our tragedy?" And the answer, and if you know your word, it's found in Romans 5. As Nate was saying today, it's so perfect how he said this. It says, "While we were yet sinners," one translation says, "while we were utterly helpless, He saved us." That's not just you. That's everybody. That's when poverty was at its worst. That's when people were starving more than they ever have. That was during war and famine and natural disasters. It was in those moments that Jesus was on the cross dying for you. What is going on in your life? Are you dealing with something that you said you would never, ever deal with again? Man, is somebody in your family dying? Has somebody close to you died? Has something tragic happened to you? Believe that in the moment of the craziest tragedy, in the most messed up sin that you said you would totally turn away from, Jesus is reaching out his hand. He is grabbing you, and he is saving your life. And we look at our problems, man. I look at my problems, and I think they're pretty big. But I look at them in light of starvation in Africa. It's not that bad, I guess. But I look at it in light of war and genocide, and I guess, God, you can take care of that before you take care of my stuff. But God loves you so much that he reached out his hand for your hand, not just a collective group of everybody. He knows you by name. He knows what you like. He knows what you don't like. He wants to know you. He loves you. And by him reaching out his hand to your hand is him saying, "I want a genuine relationship with you. I want a real relationship with you. I don't want something fake. I don't want something phony. I want something where you can come before me and say, I've got no idea what to do." Peter didn't cry out, "Lord of hosts, may you have your mercy on me." He cried out for said, "Lord, help!" And Jesus immediately reached out his hand, grabbed him, and saved his life. Jesus desires a genuine and real relationship with you tonight.